Hi, my name is Ashley Hobbs, and today I'm doing a presentation over how does culture affect language development. First off, we have to ask ourselves, what is culture? Culture is the background of a person, community, or institution that includes their beliefs or values. Examples might be the foods that they eat, the clothes that they wear, the language that they speak, or their belief system. Another thing is their ethnicity. What is language development? Language development is the development of nonverbal and verbal communication. So nonverbally, they begin at infant stage. This is where they whimper or whine and then cry because they can't speak. And then it evolves into verbal communication, which is usually when your toddlers are talking to you and stuff like that. So what factor of culture affects language development? The ethnic background affects language development. Whatever background an individual is will usually determine what language they speak. So for example, you have a Caucasian female that was born and raised in the United States. She's most likely going to speak English. But if you have a Hispanic female born and raised in Mexico, she's most likely going to speak Spanish. So how can culture affect language development? Some cultures engage in community banquets where they come together and they have dinners and stuff, and they bring their children. So then their children are engaging in conversations with adults. This also helps their vocabulary and their communication skills. And some cultures believe in using technology for language development. Technology such as TVs, iPads, newspapers, radio, but the newest thing now is social media. These programs are tools used for the children so that they can listen to, read, or watch different languages and stuff, and it enhances their own language. As educators, why is it important to understand culture diversity in the classroom? The reason why it's important is because you don't want to make the mistake of making a student feel like their culture is below someone else. Because in reality, all of the cultures are all on the same line, but if you make it to where one seems more dominant than the other, it's really going to hurt your students, and it could make them where they feel like they just don't like coming to school anymore. So what does culture diversity have to do with language development? When you expose your students to the diverse cultures through trade books, you're showing them different values and beliefs, some of them that their classmates have, and it also shows them different languages, and it sometimes inspires them to want to travel the world when they get older, experience the different cultures, and then they also learn new languages. What other things impact language development? Language development can be impacted by when parents talk to their children. It starts in pregnancy, even in infancy. Even though they can't talk, they're still listening to it, and it promotes language. When you start early, it helps for sure. You have conversations with your children. That is a belief or value from different cultures. Another thing is listening skills. They're really important to acquire for language development. When we teach our children to listen, they're able to take what was spoken to them, understand what it means, and then it becomes part of their vocabulary. And then they usually relay it back to you. Another thing is books. Books are a huge criteria for language development. When children are able to read and when they begin to learn to read, they're gaining vocabulary, and it's also enhancing their language. So benefits of language development in education. Language development promotes social skills. When students are able to use their language, they can express themselves. They can express their feelings and all that. Language development promotes expressing feelings and ideas. It also promotes solving problems and making connections. These are all things that we want our students to do. In elementary, I know a lot of people in the upper elementary expect them, and it's starting to become lower elementary as well. So we're going to start with questions and answers. So what is culture? A, culture is when you begin using language to express yourself, or B, culture is the values and beliefs of different ethnic backgrounds. Which one do you think it is? If you chose B, you're correct. What is language development? Language development is the development of nonverbal and verbal communication, or language development is the development of learning what to eat, what clothes to wear, and how to act. If you chose A, you're correct. How does culture impact language development? A. Culture impacts language development by enhancing a child's vocabulary and exposing them to the culture's language. Or B. Culture has no impact on language development. If you chose A, you are correct. Culture definitely has an impact on language development. Last question. What other factors other than culture can impact language development? A. Television, books, newspapers, and social media. Or B. Food, clothes, water, and sunlight. If you chose A, you're correct. And that's the end, folks. I hope you learned something about the effects that culture has on language development, and I hope you have a great day. And there's my reference. Thank you.